Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can see me okay. I'm going to turn off that notification noise, but I know last time we had problems. And I'll just do that little test. Let me know if you can hear me, and then I'll say what I want to say. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I forgot you can't have all these fucking characters on here. Okay. There we go. Hi, first stream. Welcome. Welcome to the party. If it is your first stream, oh my god, my hair looks crazy and the shawl is not doing that much. Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. The juxtaposition of my headshot to how I look right now. Hey. I really need to wash my hair. This is gonna be peak, like, lazy, gross girl. I needed to wash my hair before this stream. You want to know why I didn't wash my hair? Because if I wash my hair, I need to redo my eyelashes. Like, lashes are not going to last through a hair wash, and I just didn't have that in me. Like, I just didn't have it in me to do my lashes right now. Or wash my hair, honestly. So I was like, whatever. You completed the pipeline. I'm glad I look good and sound good. That's very good to hear. TikTok is here on my phone. You guys are apparently being segregated. I keep trying to include you and where you can see the slides and it never fucking works right. Sorry. Can I just tell you, when I say I feel gross, what I'm about to say is going to make a ton of sense. This morning, when I left my house, it was barely drizzling. I do not work far from my house, like 15-ish minutes. By the time I got to work, it was a monsoon that was so bad that when I got out of my car to walk into the building, and I don't park far, park pretty close, it wasn't even worth it to get the umbrella out of my trunk because I was already soaking wet just from opening the door. Like, it was underwater outside. It was like Miami level raining outside. So I spent the first hour and a half of the day soaking wet. So I just feel disgusting. Even though I showered, I still feel disgusting. Like, I need to wash my hair to get that feeling off of me. I'm honestly probably gonna wash it after this stream. Hurricane Melissa got you. I don't even know. But anyway, another thing that I want to say, I'm really like annoyed a little bit because the Courtney Stodden stream was like so important to me, and I felt like I'm not mad at you guys, don't worry. Like, so, like, her journey is like incredible, and like her story and all that, I really just admire her a lot. And I felt like last week's stream, like, we had tech issues, I didn't feel good, and I just felt like I like didn't do it justice, and I'm like kind of pissed about that. And then I was trying to put it on YouTube for a fucking week, and because we had tech issues and stopped and restarted, it wouldn't upload. I don't know why. I could not figure it out. I didn't try that hard, but like I tried a little hard. Because normally what happens is I do the stream, I download the MP4, and I just upload it into YouTube. Easy breezy. If we had a tech issue and I had to stop it and restart it, it's 2 separate streams. Still not a big deal. I download both of them, put them in iMovie. I don't edit it or anything, just whatever happened, and then I upload that. For some reason, it would not export out of iMovie. I tried on 2 different computers. I tried to delete a ton of shit. I don't know. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to put it up as 3 parts instead of 2 parts. That's like not the end of the world. But like, just the whole thing overall was irritating me that I felt like I didn't do her story the justice that I intended and had the material for. Like, y'all saw the slides, like it was there. I just felt like my vibe was off. I also had like just come back from vacation that day, so I think I was just like very out of sorts, and that's why my vibe was off. So yeah, lesson learned. Don't do a super important topic if I'm like gonna be just coming home or something like that, because I just wanted to say that. Like, it was something that was kind of weighing on me, because I finally uploaded it today, just as instead of part 1 and part 2, it's part 1, 2, and 3. I figured like people can click it if they want it. Like, I was more important to me to get it up there because I know people wanted it than it was to like have it up there in the perfect format. So I'll try and fix it later, maybe, or maybe I won't. But yeah, it was just like weighing on me today because I got it up today and I was like, damn, I wish I had done a better job of this. Gross. But I don't, like, not in a way that I'm mad at myself, because like, what could I have done? Like, a lot of that was out of my control, especially the technology issues, but just in like a way where it's like kind of like when it rains when you're supposed to go to the beach. Like, you're like, oh, like, that's how I feel about it. No, I've been thinking about her for 2 weeks. I learned so much. Yeah. So it was like, the topic of her life and her journey, I was like really happy with, and I was very happy with the way well, I wasn't happy, you know what I'm saying? I felt like it was a good topic, and that I did in a good way. Not a good topic. You get what I'm fucking trying to say. But anyway, what was I about to say? Oh, like the slides I felt like were really good and all of that. It was just like the technology issues, and like it was just like I just felt like we had the material, we had the vibes, and I just like didn't have the moment for it. But anyway, this week is actually working out very well because like I was saying, I'm just right now like kind of feeling chaotic. And like being out of town, and I was gone for like 8 days. It like really threw me off kilter. But I went back to work today. I've been like, did I go to work last week? See, like I don't even know what's happening to me. I feel like I did go to work last week. Yeah, I definitely did. But anyway, like it's just been chaotic around here. There's been a lot going on. And so I just feel very chaos. And I was like, BuzzFeed quitting stories is perfect because it's like serious, but not the most serious. Like at the end of the day, it is an internet company. And I really just wanted to like yap with you guys. And I'm excited to watch these videos. And I do have some research that I did into it. It's not just going to be straight video. But let's go ahead and get into it. So what the fuck is or was BuzzFeed? Also, this is strawberry lemonade, sparkling strawberry lemonade. So it's actually like a little lemonade sparkling water, like that much. And then I put strawberry lemonade. Because sometimes the strawberry lemonade is just like, it's so good. I have to like pace myself with it. Because like I will consume a whole gallon. People that are like, oh, it's too sweet. Never met her. Never met her. Like if it's too sweet, I need to like put like harm reduction in place. If it makes you feel any better, I literally broke a sink today. That's horrible. Okay, so BuzzFeed was an American internet media news and entertainment company with a focus on digital media. They're based in New York City. I always thought they were based in LA. I think they had like a lot of their content creators were in LA. But it was founded in 2006 by Jonah Peretti and John S. Johnson to focus on tracking viral content. This is what I was talking about on TikTok. This is something that I think is important. Viral content and tracking it was their original intention and purpose behind this company. The purpose was never to make their own stuff or never for it to be creative. I don't say that to like excuse the way they treated their employees. I just say that to give you context of like the company culture at its absolute core, which I think is really important. As someone who worked for a company that had a CEO founder, like the person running it was the founder, their core vision is always going to be really important, which like makes sense. If I was a CEO and founder, whatever I wanted it to be would be really important to me too. But like that was like very clarifying to me. John Johnson should be an illegal name. And why is he the third John Johnson of this family? Thank you so much for pointing that out. I didn't even like register that. Is there going to be a fourth? Oh my God, it's Chelsea Peretti's brother? I didn't know that. See, you guys know more than me. I'm going to Google that. Is that true? John Peretti sister? Yeah, it is Chelsea Peretti's brother. What the fuck? Interesting. Huh. I mean, like I said, not connecting dots these days, clearly. Where was I? Kenneth Leather, the co-founder and chairman of Huffington Post, started as a co-founder and investor in BuzzFeed and is now the executive chairman. Originally known for online quizzes and listicle pop cultures, the company has grown into a global media and technology company, providing coverage on a variety of topics like politics, DIY, animals, and business. They cover it all. BuzzFeed generates revenue through native advertising, a strategy that helps increase the likelihood of viewers reading through the content of the advertisements. I think what native advertising is like ads that don't look like ads. Like they're a part of it. So like on the little listicles, like one or two of them is an ad, but you like kind of don't notice it. That's me guessing. I don't know if that's true. That's why I was excited for this topic, just to like be kind of a disaster. Because like, oh, I didn't like ring true to the BuzzFeed mission. Like, oh, fuck. Before launching the billion-dollar media company, his life looked pretty normal. He graduated from UC Santa Cruz with a degree in environmental science and then landed a teaching job in New Orleans. So this is what I hate. This is like one specific thing that I hate. I hate when the news like, I don't know if fetishizes is the right word. Maybe like commodifies. That's a better word. When news stories like commodify teacher. So it's like this former teacher and like he taught for a little bit and then had a wildly successful career. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, teaching can be a career teaching can also be a job depending on how the person, different people treat it differently, and different schools treat it differently in districts and states and all that. But I hate when they take someone who had like the job teacher at one point in time and they brand them as teacher when that person has done like a gazillion things since then. It just like, you wouldn't be like, oh, this former entry-level sales guy is now CEO, because like he had a bunch of jobs between that you would probably bring up. So I don't really understand why people do it with teaching. I think because teaching is just like a very cliquey thing. It's like former teacher. Like they're acting like, who's that guy from Breaking Bad, Walter White, who was like a 20, 30-year teacher? Like, I just don't get it. So anyway, he spent 3 years teaching computer science, and then he went to MIT to get his master's. Okay. That is where he first started thinking about how ideas spread, why people share things in the media industry, and not because of a specific class or professor. In 2001, towards the end of his time at MIT, he said he was procrastinating. Someone told me that Nike had launched a service where you could customize your shoes, which was a new novel thing. And he said this on a podcast. Rather than working on his master's thesis, he decided to see what words the website would what words the system would allow him to put in to the Nike swoosh. Because like you can customize it. So he was like typing random stuff. So obviously like curse words didn't work and things like that. And then he put in the word sweatshop, and it worked. It went through. And then the next day, he got an email from Nike saying that the word sweatshop is inappropriate slang. And he said that he replied to the email, no, it's in the dictionary. It means a shop or factory where workers toil around in unhealthy conditions. Now can you send me the shoes? And they had like an email back and forth, and Nike rejected it. So what Peretti did is he put the whole thing together and emailed it to his friends. This is 2001, keep in mind. And then that email went viral. Like, viral didn't exist in 2001 the way it does today, but tons of people started forwarding that email, and it reached like millions of people. So that's how it makes sense that he started BuzzFeed and had that idea when he had this experience with like super early internet stuff. His email was so widespread that he ended up on the Today Show with the head of Nike's global PR and Katie Couric. I could not find this. Like, I tried to find it and I cannot find it. And then he started asking himself, how can a student with no context in media reach millions of people about an issue he knows very little about? Because like it didn't start with him trying to bring awareness to sweatshops. It started with him trolling. Like, he was the original troll. So then he went on to found the fucking Huffington Post before BuzzFeed. I also didn't know that. That's also why I got pissed that I saw articles being like, the former teacher who founded BuzzFeed. You don't mean the guy who was a teacher, then went to MIT, had a very successful career, and founded the Huffington Post? Like, that was like his like early like pre-career career. Not to like deprofessionalize teaching. Y'all know I'm a teacher and care about it, but I'm like, why are you referring to him as a former teacher when he literally founded the Huffington Post? Shortly after launching HuffPost, which sold to AOL for $315 million in 2011, he started BuzzFeed as a side project in 2006. So BuzzFeed was like his joke project, which makes sense as to why they had so much money. I learned a lot at Huffington Post about building a business and startup, but there were still things I wanted to figure out about media. What does it mean when people can share media and become the distribution? I couldn't do it at HuffPost, which makes sense as like a more legitimate news organization. So I started BuzzFeed as a lab where I could continue to play and do research and experiment. Since launching, BuzzFeed has about doubled their audience every year. This is an older article. I think it was from like the height of BuzzFeed. Today, the company reaches hundreds of millions of readers, employs 1,300 people around the world, and was last valued at $1.5 billion. I think this article is from 2015, 16, 17, sometime around then. Arguably, it all started with the email thread, and he said that like his procrastination led to this. He said, once you have some initial success, you get access to people and ideas and data that allow you to synthesize things. If you stay at something long enough and you learn as you're doing it, and a little bit of initial luck can turn into something bigger over time. So much lore in the first 5 slides, I know. So they started creating content. So in the beginning, they did not have writers, they did not have editors, they did not have creators. It was just an algorithm to cull stories from around the web that were showing the stirrings of virality. So that's what he says if you have the data. So they were basically studying what makes things go viral. Like, why does something go viral? Also, for those of you on TikTok, if you want to come to Twitch or YouTube, you'll be able to like see the slides and stuff. Love you, thanks. Sorry that this app hates you. So the site initially launched as an instant messaging client, BuzzBot, where you could send links to popular content, but then they ended up changing it to blogs. And Peretti hired curators to help describe the content that was popular around the web. So it was more people like getting content and writing up a little blurb and resharing it rather than people creating anything. So like, again, it was created to be an experiment to study how things go viral. It was not created to be a creative endeavor, to be a space for creators. In 2011, Peretti hired Politico's Ben Smith, who had earlier achieved much attention as a political blogger, and that is where they started the listicles. Listicles are the list articles. 17 recipes to try for Valentine's Day, 3 horrible jackets, like those. I know a lot of people were shocked when this happened, but it makes a lot more sense. That's literally what I just said. It's almost like I wrote this. Wow. In 2016, they formally separated their news and entertainment into BuzzFeed News and then the newly formed BuzzFeed Entertainment Group. As of 2016, they had correspondents in 12 countries. They had about 1,700 employees. And it was announced that in November of 2017, they were going to lay off about 100 employees in the US, 45 in the UK, and 100 in France. Damn, France. It's like, there's like 100 people in France total. Damn. So this is like 2016, and 2017, 2018 is where they kind of started to go down a little bit. We'll get into fun stuff after we read. So on January 3rd, 2019, BuzzFeed notified all employees via memo that there would be an upcoming 15% reduction in workforce, and it would affect about 200 employees. And then in 2020, they signed a deal with Universal Television to produce content based on their stories. BuzzFeed News has done some great reporting, and y'all know I will be in BuzzFeed News. We've used them on the stream many times just last week. Where was I? 3 top BuzzFeed News editors in March 2022 announced they would be resigning and the newsroom would face voluntary layoffs or job cuts. And the cuts came after BuzzFeed investors encouraged Peretti to shut down all of BuzzFeed News, but he refused. So like that 1 point for that, which was reported on CNBC. So these are a bunch of like what I would say, what my brain refers to as BuzzFeed core. Like, these are BuzzFeed when they're at their height. They're your 2014, 15, and 16. Like, that is when they were the biggest. Some of these might be a little earlier than that. So let's just watch some freaking BuzzFeed. Because I didn't want to talk about quitting without, like, seeing their work.
Dude, hurry up. We're going to be late for the movie.
1 second.
The title of this is for girls who struggle to gain weight. I personally do not find that relatable at all, but it was short and cute and had some for healthcare. Have you tried getting pregnant? That's what I mean. Like, they were speaking to things. 2010's body positivity, how I miss you. Also, a bunch of these have been rebranded to As Is. That's the channel that it's on. But if you notice in the video, it says BuzzFeed Presents. They had like a bunch of different channels and offshoots and things that were very ever changing. We could have a whole other stream about the history of BuzzFeed, but this is BuzzFeed quitting stories. So I want to get to the quitting very shortly. They had lots of food stuff, 6 snacks here. It's snacks. And a lot of their shit, like I said, it was good and it gained traction for a reason. It showed normal people, very normal looking people who were mostly young, just like having experiences in life. It wasn't really celebrity or influencer. 7 things all anxious people understand. The millennial heist core music.
I just remembered something awkward I did like 8 years ago.
Crazy that if they were making this 10 to 15 years later, it'd all be AI. Don't even say that.
What's that supposed to mean?
So yeah, they talked about like some mental health stuff, some body stuff, some hobby stuff, some food stuff. It was a lot. This is Ladylike. I was a big Ladylike watcher. Like, very good content that they're making. This is like OG Try Guys. Another thing that I think they were very successful with is creating these natural collabs. So like Ladylike started as a natural collab, and Buzzfeed, what I think worked so well for them during this era is they let creative people be creative and then saw what worked. And if it worked, they leaned in and they were like, keep doing that. Whether it was a certain group of people, that worked, or a certain topic or series or format, that worked. And at least from my perspective, it seems like they were kind of letting not them do whatever they wanted. I'm sure they had like directives and stuff, but like they were letting them like think of stuff and have the space to experiment and make stuff and see what worked and didn't. This is actually giving me increasing anxiety as it goes on because the clothes I avoid, and I actively hope Ned jump scare. So trigger warning, Ned does come up a couple times. Sorry, it was Ned. It was Ned. So I'm sure many of you, they did in fact end it. Out of every copyrighted thing that we've seen, oh, I know what happened. Damn it. I hope they don't kick me off live. I know what happened. I forgot to select that it was for adults only. The default is to everyone, every time, which is crazy as fuck. And I bet it's because it was alcohol. Because remember, all the other stuff we said earlier had nothing to do with alcohol, but I bet it because they were talking about alcohol. That's what did it. Oh well, sorry tubers. My bad. It wasn't like all the employees like quit at once. Like it wasn't like, oh my God, life's amazing. And then everyone just fucking quit. There was not a single moment, but there was a wave of departures around 2018, 2019, spearheaded by high-profile creators like the Try Guys and Safia, I think is her name. So yeah, Safia. These departures are part of a larger trend of employees wanting to leave for more creative control, ownership, and better pay. They were also followed by significant layoffs and restructuring, including the shutdown of BuzzFeed News in 2023. But I don't think that's true because BuzzFeed News is still around. I think they just like restructured it and it's different. So it wasn't like we felt like everything fell apart because it did, but it was because of a few factors at the same time. They did have some shitty things that came out. This article is from 2019. BuzzFeed is being accused of laying off mostly people of color and LGBT employees. Whether you support BuzzFeed or not, the facts are hundreds of people who made and worked on content speaking to marginalized and unrepresented groups are being laid off, and that's a problem. That's what someone tweeted about it. And like we saw, they talked about a lot of things like mental health and culture, and like they would have like lesbian things and like gay guy like, you know, like their listicles and their videos. Like it was very much for all, I'm sure every moment for everyone wasn't great, but from the outside looking in, it seemed to be a very inclusive workspace that valued people's voices. And then when they were laying off all these people, it like really wasn't giving that. This is some people tweeting about it. I was told that I'm a part of BuzzFeed layoffs. After 4 years, I've grown more than I ever thought, lost 40 pounds by drinking my breakfast. Weird thing to bring up. And shared my heart with the world. Between the 140 million views and the 660 million minutes watched, I've hopefully made some of you shed a tear, giggle, feel more represented. I'm forever thankful for the life-changing moments in front of and behind the camera with BuzzFeeders and beyond. Thanks for taking this journey with me. On to the next chapter. BuzzFeed was my dream job. Has been my dream job. I felt and contributed to a space that made people feel safe. If you watched a second of anything I worked on, thank you. I wonder if they had any pay discrepancy issues with people of color on screen talent like Bon Appetit did. One thing I do know about them that I think is going to come up in the quitting videos we're about to watch is that they had like a structure where you couldn't just get a job and stay in that job. Like you were in a cohort kind of, and you got like promoted up. So like you had to get promoted to stay. You couldn't just be like, oh, I'm at this level making this kind of content and I like that and I want to keep doing that. Like they had a lot of like changes and roles and promotions and cohorts and things. Like it seemed kind of like chaotic from an HR perspective. Yeah, here's some more people just saying like, I was laid off. A lot of them, like you see, are people of color. So I think it's a warranted criticism that they had. I don't know about the Bon Appetit shit. actually. I don't, like, I've heard of Bon Appetit, but I don't know what that is really. Like, I've heard of it, and I know it's, like, food stuff, but I don't know specifics. So yeah, a lot of the people were saying, like, so grateful to work there, whatever. And then these are some other people tweeting about it. Interesting how the majority of people BuzzFeed laid off are POC or queer and makes content related to the topics of identity, representation, and mental health. Really interesting. So is it just me, or does it feel like BuzzFeed made a reputation on the backs of very talented queer and people of color creators, editors, etc., and then got rid of all of them at once that reputation was cemented enough to get away with it? Oh, we're back on YouTube? Oh, tubers, we're back. We are back. We're so back. Great. Good, because I was really afraid they, like, banned me forever. I, like, hear someone screaming, and I don't really know what's going on with that, but all right, I guess. Maybe I will do a Bon Appetit deep dive. So this article was mostly a collection of tweets, so I skipped over some of the ones that I didn't show you. There were like 100 in there or something ridiculous. To make up for the loss of their workers, the company is now relying on more fellows, interns, and voluntary writers. So voluntary writers is people that just, like, post on the website and don't work there. According to New York Magazine, their top quizzes were actually made by a 19-year-old college student who had brought in millions of views for the company, but, like, didn't work there. So the company gave her a bunch of merch. So they were like, why would we hire adults who are qualified and pay them and give them health insurance when we could just exploit 19-year-olds? That, we think, would be better for us. Because, again, the intention of the company was to share viral content. It was never to create their own content. In addition, former staff has noticed that they increased the length of their fellowship roles from 3 months or 4 months to year long. So remember how I was saying they had different stages? So it was like, you were a fellow, then you got promoted, then you this. So they changed their lowest one to be 3 to 4 months to over a year with no benefits. So it's like, very much seems like a money thing to me. Many Asian American content creators left BuzzFeed and showed concern for the company. And then BuzzFeed responded to this and said, we estimate, or in response to claims being made about them online, BuzzFeed US would like to note that their staff is made up of approximately 34.8% people of color. We estimate that after layoffs, BuzzFeed US will be 34.2% people of color. Additionally, BuzzFeed will have 1% more women, 61% now, 60% before the layoff. So they just basically gave numbers and were like, we didn't do that. This was also crazy. This was in 2022. Dozens of BuzzFeed employees claimed they were illegally shortchanged in an IPO. An IPO is, I guess, like when a company goes public. So if, like, they were early on in the company and they were paid with, like, stock or like a piece of the company. I'm not a fucking stock person, so I don't know. But basically, when the company went public and the stock price increased, the, like, OG employees were supposed to be owed money off, like, what was in their contract, and the damages were estimated at $8.7 million. And this was in the New York Times. Nearly 80 former and current employees of BuzzFeed accused the company of bungling its stock market debut and denying the workers the chance to sell their shares at a higher price. It made it to the American Arbitration Association, which resolves disputes outside of court. The groups were asking for $8.7 million. It's regrettable the stock price declined, but there's no merit to the claims, blah, blah, blah. BuzzFeed said the BuzzFeed prioritized communication with them. I'm going to skip over some of this because I kind of want to get to the videos. But what I really want to talk about is it seems like money and going public to be a publicly traded company and, like, prioritizing profit really ruined something that was really creative and cool. Because I don't think there was a world where BuzzFeed was going to be an insanely profitable company in the long term. I just don't think that world exists. I do think BuzzFeed could have been a sustainable company that worked in a creative space and been sustainable. Would it have been insanely profitable to go public and sell stock and make money for investors? No. I don't think there's a universe where that was possible for that to work long term, and it didn't. Stock price plummeted. Like, that universe didn't exist for it to be a profit machine. I do think there's a very real universe where BuzzFeed is still what you and I know and love, where they're not making tons of money, but they are able to have a sustainable company. They might not have quarterly growth every single quarter, but I do think they had what it takes to be sustainable, because all that content that's on there is still monetized. So like, I think it could have been sustainable. I'm not a business person, but every time I see a cool company going public, I know it's the beginning of the end. So this is why we left BuzzFeed. I just picked a few different familiar faces that I knew and found some people who had videos that seemed like we could watch most of them in this. This is Allison and Gabby, who still do a lot of content together, I believe. And Gabby transitioned, is now Gabe. And I think we're mutuals. Yeah, I think Gabe and I are mutuals. Gabriel? Is that what they go by now?
Hello, John. Hello, Hank. We are Gabby and Allison from Just Between Us.
When they asked us to do this video, we were excited because our channel is a comedy channel and we rarely get real with our talk.
I get real all the time.
Yeah, you're pretty real, but I try to stay fake.
That's why we're an odd couple. That's why this works.
But there's been one topic that a lot of people have been asking us about that we've never really addressed. And we figured that this would be a good opportunity to do it. This is my first vlog.
Congrats on your first vlog.
Thank you. I feel different.
And this is from 2016.
Why did we leave BuzzFeed?
We left over a
So I did put the why we left BuzzFeeds in order. So this is one of like the original ones, 2016.
year ago.
This is probably
They
one
did
of the
this on the
biggest
Vlog
decisions
Brothers
I've ever
channel.
made.
I agree.
The first few months there were amazing.
I had a writing job before, so I was less enthused about the whole thing.
I don't think you're ever as enthused as I am about anything.
That's true. It's very hard for me to feel joy. And I was also like 26, so it wasn't my first job. I wasn't like a lot of the other people there who were like just out of college.
Now I feel embarrassed that it was my first job when I was 25. It wasn't my first job, but it was my first job writing.
Yeah, your first writing job, which is a big deal, and it's like a scary thing to leave.
I'd done
The
a lot of
internet
writing
used to
for
feel more
free. It was
collaborative.
also
I
an
agree.
incredible environment, and there were all these people our own age. We were all like making stuff, and I very distinctly remember standing there during like an all hands meeting and just thinking, it's so sad that I can't work here my entire life. And so that's what was so interesting with like after a few months went by when like things kind of started to change, where it became clear that maybe that wasn't where I was supposed to be for forever, that there was some pushback about the fact that we had our own channel. We were in a sort of department where it wasn't super clear like what we were supposed to be doing.
And we also were like toying with, okay, well, do we get rid of Just Between Us and commit ourselves to BuzzFeed? But that didn't feel right to us either.
We were getting interest from other people about doing our own stuff. We wanted to prioritize Just Between Us because that was growing and Just Between Us is ours. The thing about jobs is that you can leave them. And so you
Big
have
time.
to listen to yourself. And if like at a certain point, even if the company's great, even if like you had great experience there, if it's no
This is
longer the right
one
fit-
common thing I noticed throughout these I Left BuzzFeed videos was BuzzFeed trying to control the employees' creativeness outside of work. So if the employee had their own channel or their own creative things they wanted to do, or even within BuzzFeed, not willing to let that person have any ownership over their creation. That's one common thread I noticed. Another common thread that Allison briefly said is we were in a department where there was like a lot going on. I also noticed that it didn't seem like there were super clear policies around pay, working hours, promotions, ownership of content, credit on things. Those are like two things I really noticed in these videos. And I didn't pre-watch all of these. I'm going to live react to most of them, but some of them I had seen before just because I was into this.
like in a relationship,
Ha!
then you have to break up.
When you work for a company and make videos, everything that you make, that company owns. So for instance, you might have heard about some people being let go from BuzzFeed, and those people, the characters and the videos the series that they created while at BuzzFeed, they'll never be able to make that series ever again. And that's because that is BuzzFeed's intellectual property. And that began to scare me, where I was like, well, do I give them my best ideas? Later in life, I may want to use those ideas for something and I won't be able to. And that started worrying me more and more, and the idea of them owning anything to do with Just Between Us started worrying me more and more.
But I remain like so grateful to BuzzFeed. Like I do not think that like we would be where we are if we hadn't had BuzzFeed. I think it was incredible exposure. It was amazing. But at the same time, you have to remember that a company is always a company, and a company is not your friend. And so that's confusing because you're working with all of your friends, and all of the people that work there are your friends, but the company itself is not your friend. When I went into this industry, I knew that it was going to be very unstable and it was going to be kind of chaotic, and I wouldn't really...
When Grace Helbig had to restart on YouTube,
but I think one of the issues is if you start working for one of those big companies, you kind of get tricked, and you're like, oh, I have stability and I get to be creative. But at a certain point, you have to remember that you need to take risks.
In the end, you only have yourself and you only have what you've made. So, like, how do you know? Like, to me, whenever we were there, I would always think, how do I know any of these companies will be here in 5 years? Why would I, like, marry myself to this thing that I'm, like...
No, Grace was not a part of BuzzFeed.
The only thing I knew would be around was
me
and you.
Is that better?
Hopefully, if we both live.
That's really...
If we both make it.
Seems real optimistic.
And honestly, I could do a stream just about these two.
And there
they
are
have
so many
lore
people that, like,
for days.
Like, the way that they would be the most happy is to stay at a company and work there long term. But it just wasn't right for us. And I think that that's almost like what we want to say the most is, like, just listen to your gut and listen to what feels right for you. And, like, the other side isn't roses.
Yeah.
Like, it's constant stress. We're constantly upset, but we've been able to work on projects and, like, strive towards projects that are, like, so much bigger than I think that what we could have done if we stayed there, and so much more our own. This feels so uncomfortable to be talking sincerely into a camera.
Yeah, I'm really excited watching you do it.
I'm like breaking out in hives. Where are the jokes?
Need a just between us stream. So this is Chris Reinker. I have not seen this one. This is 2017, very highly viewed, 4.2 million views.
Hey guys, it's Chris Reinker. I'm the actor, writer, producer, chicken watcher, misheard lyricser, taste tester, previously a Buzzfeed video. I left Buzzfeed after being there for 2.5 years. I made over 240 minutes of content there, over 2 feature films lengthwise. If you put all my taste tests back to back, it's actually the length of Game of Thrones. That's not true. But I've been a little off the radar for the past 6 months. I wanted to check in and let you guys know what I've been doing, where I hope to go, and let you know why I've made the decisions I have. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like vlogs that much. So I made my living making relatable content. You know, those awkward moments we all have. I
think you were gonna get up.
Oh, what are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? What am I doing with my life?
But I always thought it could get a little bit deeper. You know what I mean? But the filmmaking process didn't really allow for that there. Here, let me give you some visual aids. So, filmmaking is a collaborative process. You know, it takes a lot of different brains to make one thing. You know, you got a brain for writing, you got a brain for camera, you got a brain for acting, a brain for a whole bunch of different things. Small sets have dozens of brains, large sets have 50, hundreds, even 1,000. At Buzzfeed, one brain has to do it all, which is possible, but it begins to hurt your brain after a while. And I started thinking if I wasn't multitasking all the time.
Someone said, were they all contractors? No, they were not all contractors. Most of them were full-time employees, I believe. You do not look impressed with this white man. No, I am. I just, like, am trying to follow it. Like, I feel like I really need to pay attention to what he's saying.
Maybe I'll be able to make some better content. So I decided to, just use my writing brain. And I've just been writing for the past 6 months. A whole bunch of stuff. I know it's not that exciting on Instagram, but it's got to be done. What's going on, man?
I wanted to raise horses.
Of course, there were some other things, which a lot of people have covered. They own all your intellectual property.
I'm
You're
open.
not allowed
I just
to
don't
do
know who
any
they
projects
are.
outside of BuzzFeed. The growing integration of ads and move away from scripted content.
I'm rewinding it a little bit because this is important, I think.
Of course, there were some other things, which a lot of people have covered. They own all your intellectual property. You're not allowed to do any projects outside of BuzzFeed. The growing integration of ads and move away from scripted content. Also, they fired one.
So, not allowed to do projects outside. They own all your intellectual property. Higher increase of ads, moving away from scripted content, which is a lot of what we just saw. And then he's about to say, and they fired one of my friends.
One of my best friends and collaborators. But mainly, I just wanted to work out on one thing at a time.
I don't know who that was.
So for the past 6 months, I've been developing a lot of film and television. But as I've been doing that, I keep on having these ideas for YouTube videos. And I like YouTube videos. I like making them. They're fun. And they're quick. And I like sharing with you guys and hearing what you think. So I decided to make a YouTube channel on my own. And And like a lot of YouTubers, I needed some sponsors, so I gotta get used to this. This episode is sponsored by security cameras, which they installed for us. Security cameras, keeping you safe. So, what is this new channel? What can you expect to see here? Well, first of all, it's a place to collaborate with a whole bunch of new brains. I'll introduce you to some new people, and we'll see some familiar faces that we're used to.
Yo, you wanna leave this party and smoke a little bit?
I'm doing a vlog.
That's not how vlogs work. What?
I could do, a song.
This is not Nick.
Or whatever I want, really. Maybe even something dramatic.
I waited for you,
Denise?
and you never came.
I could even do unscripted stuff. Or I can do topical stuff. I could even illustrate my last point with a big choreographed dance. You see, when you're creating new videos every single week, you start to get a little bit tired. You justify it because it's getting
That looks like
clicked
the Try
on.
Guys'
But
first house, is it?
I want to create big things. And this is a series about creating videos for the internet. And I want to be able to do that through good writing, with plot twists and villains. So please, subscribe. Subscribe here or wherever the button is, because I'll keep coming back every single week with a new video. And I gotta remind you again that this one is sponsored by security cameras. Was that me?
So, like, very creative, very... You can tell this is a passion project of theirs. This is Candace Lowry, Why I Left BuzzFeed, April 25th, 2017.
Let me get one thing out of the way.
It's 12 minutes. We probably will not watch the entire thing.
This will not be as good as Chris's video, okay? So if you're expecting something cool to happen, I'm so sorry. It's just me and Muggs here. Okay,
And there were a lot of these
my
videos
last
coming out.
Well, not last video. I kind of dropped the ball. It's like a couple videos ago.
3 weeks later.
I told you guys how I got my job at BuzzFeed, and now I'm gonna tell you how I left. And
I'm gonna
why
speed
I
it up a
left.
little bit.
So I was at BuzzFeed for 2.5 years, and I started out as a writer, and then I moved on to the video department where I was
And it
working
seems like
as
a lot
kind
of
like
people
a
were there about
liaison
2 years.
between edit and video and bridging the gap between the two. I worked on helping producers brainstorm and finding new ways to bring our editorial
Yeah, I wonder
posts to
what The
life in
Office was
video
like
as
when
well.
this came out.
And a lot of my job was also Bugsy, I'm filming a video.
TikTok's
Excuse
mad
me?
at me.
A lot of my job was
There we go.
brainstorming a ton and working with people on Nifty, at Tasty, Top Knot, and then
Nifty.
eventually the ladies of Ladylike. So I kind of have a different background story, I guess. I was never a producer. I was a social video strategist and then eventually a senior social video strategist, but I also got to be in videos as well, which was really, really fun. And it was really awesome to see. Bugsy, are you done? Okay, come here. Anyway, like I was saying, it was really cool to see all of these videos and producers' ideas come to life, and I got to kind of see every single part of it. But eventually, I got a little tired, but I really wasn't looking for a way out. I wasn't
Another
actively
common
searching for a
theme,
job.
burnout.
And Pop Sugar came to me and actually recruited me to come work for them, and I had a really hard time figuring out what to do because I was at BuzzFeed for, like I said, like 2.5 years, and some of my best friends were working there. Everybody gets really, really close to each other in these videos and making these videos and seeing if things will work.
I
and we're
love it. It's
brainstorming
like a
all day,
bonded
and
ass
God bless the
workplace,
producers
like in
that
the
are there
unhealthiest of ways.
24/7, and they work so hard. And it felt like I was graduating college and I was leaving all of these really great friends, and I was stuck
Very
at this
2017,
point
well,
where I
pull
had
the
to
makeup.
decide if I wanted to kind of move on to get this promotion and really see if I can grow a page without the backing of Buzzfeed, or if I wanted to stay at Buzzfeed and continue to grow at Buzzfeed. And it was really, really hard, and I think I wanted to
One of the most common
myself,
themes I've heard in these videos is burnout. BuzzFeed
BuzzFeed
forced gigantic workloads on everybody. Like, they were pumping content out.
I will tell you right now, I dreaded having to tell my boss that I was leaving and put in my 2 weeks, and it was horrific, and I was shaking, and I was crying.
Ooh, first time live, thank you.
It was really, really hard to leave, and I know that every single person who has left has had a really hard time, because BuzzFeed is very unique in that it almost feels like a secret club. It feels like almost, a lot of people say cultish, but it's that, you know, you're always told that you're the best of the best and the brightest of the brightest, and then when you're faced with another opportunity, it's like, is it stepping down? Is this not the right thing to do? Am I already at the highest place? And you're kind of playing mind games with yourself, and you know, I had to take that.
Her story's a little different. She got recruited by another company
and go somewhere else, and it was really hard. And a lot of people told me I was going to make a huge mistake, and a lot of people told me everything I was going to do wasn't ever going to amount up to what I was doing at BuzzFeed, and it was really, really tough. And if anything, I want this video to teach you that, you know, what you think is your dream job or what you think is the best thing in the world might not always be your path, and that's okay.
Not BuzzFeed gaslighting them into thinking this would be the height of their career.
Normal.
So maybe I'm toxic, but I feel like it low-key would be. Like, maybe not in money or status or accomplishment, but I feel like definitely in fun, like in that creative space. That's what I mean. It seems like it was a very unique time period.
A year ago next month, which is insane. It's insane to me. And afterwards, I've been seeing like Soft leave, Chris left right before me, Jordan, and then Steph was gone, and Michelle was gone, and it's all these people that are kind of forging their own path, which is incredible. And you know, it's scary because
one thing that I saw on
people sometimes act like
Reddit or a comment, when I was researching this, I saw a comment somewhere where someone said it seems like BuzzFeed wasn't really a job, it was like a media training camp. Like, it was a spot where it was like boot camp to learn how to do like media and video and YouTube, and that's kind of what this reads for me.
But, you know, to be honest, it was really hard to face that reality that other producers couldn't come out and create content with me and stuff, and there's been this weird awkwardness.
Having a salary and health insurance and getting to do a creative job is objectively hard to find, especially young in your career. That's what I mean. It was a unique opportunity.
It's really great, and I feel very valued, and I really appreciate the opportunity that I have now. And it was really a tough decision because I've never quit a job before. You know, quitting is awful. Like, I thought that getting your job was awful. Quitting is so hard, especially when you don't want to disappoint someone that you really care about.
Is streaming for us like the BuzzFeed of your career right now?
Other people's reasons for leaving, if I agree with that.
No, because I'm kind of a narcissist and think that I should have a television show. So to me,
I'm still getting asked if I still
the
work
way
at
I look
BuzzFeed,
at streaming is I'm like, wow, one day when I have a TV show, I'll look back on this and be like, that was such an incredibly intimate, sacred, beautiful time with you all. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. I feel like nostalgic about it, and I'm still doing it.
Here. And I think part of it is that I don't want my identity to solely be BuzzFeed. You know, I want to be able to create this own path and to be able to collaborate with anyone everywhere and to have creative freedom. You know, when you're a producer, you do everything, which is
okay, so it seems like her main story is like she wanted more creative freedom. She was recruited away. It was incredibly difficult. I like this one. This one's a little bit different than the other ones. I'm glad I included this. What we've all been waiting for. One of the biggest creators at BuzzFeed. This was March 20th, 2017. So I actually should have put that before these. Oopsies, I got a little bit out of order. Sorry about that. But this is one of the OGs, why I left BuzzFeed. 15 million views. Safia is a very, very successful YouTuber to this day. We are her test run. No, you're not. My
Hello,
public
friends,
school
and
teaching
welcome to
career
another video.
was my test
Today I'm
run.
going to be talking about
joke.
why I left Buzzfeed. This is a very requested video topic. A lot of you guys have been asking
We'll
me
watch
about
this whole thing.
and I want to be as open and honest as possible with you guys. I did leave Buzzfeed about 6 weeks ago, right at the end of January. I wanted to wait to make this video just until all the videos that I was in that were like pre-recorded with me in them were already posted on Buzzfeed's channel, so there was no confusion about that. Just in case there's anyone watching who doesn't know me, I was a video producer at Buzzfeed Video. I worked there from April of 2015 until the end of January of 2017, and I worked exclusively on this show called Ladylike from October of 2015 until when I left in January of 2017. So before I get started, I
Again,
just want to
2
say that
years.
these are the reasons why
Yes,
I left,
obviously, you
not
all
necessarily
have
the same
reserved
reasons why
seats at
someone
my
else may have
television
left
show.
or reasons why someone else might not stay. I'm not trying to speak for anyone else but myself. Buzzfeed is a pretty big company with a lot of different types of jobs and a lot of different teams, and some of the things that I experienced that made me want to leave, someone else might not even experience. A lot of people at Buzzfeed also have different backgrounds and different career goals, so I respect everyone's decision to stay or not stay or do whatever they want with their careers. Everyone has their own path. I'm also not here to trash Buzzfeed or to nitpick everything I don't like about the company. I don't think there are a lot of people who like everything about the company that they work for or have worked for. I know that there might be some people watching for whom Buzzfeed is not their favorite thing, but I'm just here to tell you guys the reasons why I left and not to trash the company. So the overarching reason why I left Buzzfeed is to have independence. And for me, that means a few things, but I'll start off with transparency. And by transparency, I mean transparency and open lines of communication between myself and you guys watching. One of the main things that bothered me was that I was not supposed to communicate with you guys on YouTube. And what I mean by that is that we were told not to read the comments, but further than that, we were not supposed to reply to any comments in the comment section on the videos that we made. A lot of you guys might know how much I love talking to you guys on social media, but I was never allowed to talk to you guys on YouTube. So if there was a comment that I really loved or something I thought was really funny in the comments, I couldn't say that I liked it. And if there was a question or a misconception, I couldn't clarify anything. And I think that that's a big part of YouTube, being able to talk to the people watching. Another point on transparency is
you
that
can tell they're all competent and professional. They wrote these careful statements themselves, I'm guessing. That's what this reads for me, and like why I said earlier, it kind of seems like a media training boot camp. I don't mean that negatively at all. I mean that in the sense that you can tell these people learned so much about writing and editing and all of that. That's why I was saying, like, I don't think it was like the height or the peak of someone's career. I don't like the term peak because I think there's pros and cons and good things and bad things everywhere. But I do think for a lot of people, this would be a highlight of their career, that they felt like they learned a ton, even though it was very difficult. Because, like, I've had jobs like that. Like, I've told you guys when I worked at a resort, yes, it was super hard, but I feel the way that they do of, like, I was very close with my coworkers, and, like, I learned so much that it's a time I look back and value a lot, even though when I was in it, it was very challenging. That's kind of what reads from this to me.
There's really no clarity to the viewers about what video producers do at Buzzfeed and which videos they make. For example, a lot of people thought that I was an actress for Buzzfeed and didn't know that I not only made a lot of videos for Ladylike, I actually started Ladylike with Freddie. Because our names aren't attached to the videos that we make, people would often ask me to explain or answer for videos or even articles that were produced by other people that I had nothing to do with, that were sometimes made on the other side of the country or even the other side of the world. And that would often put me in a little bit of a sticky situation because I didn't want to speak for other people.
And she went to Stanford. They had very talented young people. Like, it was hard to get a job there. So the lack of
transparency between Buzzfeed and you guys kind of made me both not able to take credit for the work that I did, but also made me overly accountable for decisions that were made in other parts of the company that I had nothing to do with. There were also issues with transparency within the company. Over the 15 months I worked on Ladylike, we could never really get a clear answer from higher ups as to where they saw the show going or what they thought the future of Ladylike was. We didn't have a lot of meetings with higher ups. In fact, most of what we heard was through the grapevine, but we did have one meeting, but then also maybe abandoning the format altogether. All in all, it was pretty confusing. And this lack of transparency in particular leads me to my next point and the next reason I wanted to leave, which is that I wanted more responsibility. So when Ladylike first started out, it wasn't exactly the darling of Buzzfeed. The first episode had some support because it was supposed to be a new show on the Top Knot Facebook page, which at the time was about beauty and style.
See, like, they had all these different pages
solely about hair tutorials, so after the first episode, Ladylike didn't have a place there. We were told that we were allowed to keep making Ladylike, but it wasn't really a part of BuzzFeed's big picture plans. So Freddie and I kept making Ladylike episodes because we really thought that there was something there. And there were actually other people at BuzzFeed who really believed in Ladylike too and stepped in to help out, and we really all wanted to work on it and prove it. So over the next couple of months, Ladylike began to gain momentum and was actually able to become a real team at BuzzFeed, which meant that we got more resources and we got a couple more producers put on the project full time, which was awesome and exactly what we wanted because it was finally becoming a thing. But as time went on, it felt like big picture strategizing and responsibilities were taken away from us. We were still expected to come up with the ideas for Ladylike episodes and produce a majority of them, but Freddie and I were not included in any high-level conversations about Ladylike. What I mean by that is like conversations about possible collaborations, partnerships, what's going to be on our Facebook page and our playlist, and things as small as like the branding, like what font we're going to be using. And that was pretty frustrating to me. And when I expressed my frustration and my desire to be included in those kinds of meetings, the answer was, this is how things are, this is the way the company works, and that's not your role. And that made me have to step back and realize that my job was video producer, and they were right, and that I was never going to be able to get the kind of responsibility that I wanted at BuzzFeed. Another thing was this awkward dynamic where my name and my face were really associated with BuzzFeed and with Ladylike, but I didn't own any part of Ladylike, and I also wasn't included in any of the higher level strategy conversations about the show
Japan.
itself.
Oh my god,
so
hi!
My real name and my face were associated with something that I had no ownership over. This kind of got into a sticky situation when the idea of creating merchandise
They fumbled by not valuing their creatives,
because
but
to me,
remember
it
that
felt
was
like we were
never their
getting close to
purpose
BuzzFeed
from the
being able to
beginning,
sell
so I'm not
something under that name,
surprised.
which is not really what I signed up for. So when you agree to work at BuzzFeed, you know that you're not going to be owning the content that you make for them. I actually think that that's pretty common practice with companies like BuzzFeed and also in the entertainment world in general, especially early in people's careers. If you make a show and sell that show to a studio, the studio will own that show. Although in most cases, even if a company or a studio owns it, you still get credited, which is something that BuzzFeed doesn't do. But you make a trade-off when you work for BuzzFeed. You give them content and they give you resources. It's a job and it pays the bills. I have no question that making Ladylike on such a big platform was an amazing opportunity, and I learned so much at BuzzFeed, and I'm so thankful for all the opportunities they gave me and everything that I learned there. But I think there is a difference between them owning the content that I made for them, which is what I signed up for when I started working there, and them owning my name, which is a line that we didn't cross, but I think that we were approaching. And that's another reason why I left. I think in general, my goals and the company's goals just didn't align anymore. And I know to some of you guys, it might have seemed like an abrupt decision, but for me, I made this decision over time, and it just felt like the right time to leave. For some people who work at BuzzFeed, having their own YouTube channel is not something that they're interested in. But for me, it's something I've been interested in for a really long time. And so that's what I did. I left BuzzFeed at the end of January, and since then I've been focusing 100% of my energy into posting videos on this channel. I just want to say I have no hard feelings towards BuzzFeed or towards anyone who works for BuzzFeed. I've been really loving being able to make my own videos and being able to connect with you guys more. And my only sadness with all of this is that I won't be able to work with the girls on Ladylike anymore. Freddie was actually able to be in a couple of videos on my channel right when I left BuzzFeed, but it doesn't look like that's going to be possible anymore, nor with any of the other Ladylike girls. Hopefully one day that changes, because I would love to have them on this channel and work with them again. But in the meantime, you've seen that I've been working with Candace. Candace actually left BuzzFeed in the middle of last year, and I've been really loving working with her. And I also have plans to collaborate with people who are outside of the BuzzFeed pool, and I'm really excited about that too. If you guys want to watch the videos I've already made, you can click this playlist right here. And
I really like, she is super smart and very, very well spoken. I think she explained that very professionally and kindly, and like she said, not digging or anything like that. Trigger warning, Ned. Sorry. I had to do it. Like, they were some of the OGs. This was December 2nd, 2019. So now we're kind of getting past that, like, big wave in 2017. All those other videos we saw were 2017. So how we left BuzzFeed from 4 different perspectives.
Today
Much later, where they were talking about how they tried to get them to sign this shady agreement, the Try Guys, about their content. It seemed very weird.
Was it to start pushing and exploring the idea?
I think the key difference is that Ladylike wasn't its own channel at first. And that's another thing. Like, they were saying it wasn't clear. Like, they didn't have clear HR policy. So I think that is a good point. That, like, why did the Try Guys get to leave and keep the name Try Guy, but Ladylike couldn't make videos together? I also think it's because the Try Guys left as a unified force at the end of their contracts. And it seems like Ladylike, they weren't as, like, contractually unified. Very interesting. I think I've told you all this before, but I have a proposed gun policy for our nation. The only people that get to have guns, pregnant women. Everyone move carefully. Discuss amongst yourselves. I will not be elaborating. I have tea about a client. I don't want to know about this right now. This is a Devin Little, why I left BuzzFeed. I love Devin, big fan of Devin.
Okay, so you guys might have noticed some things have changed around these parts.
Oh, no.
Okay, so you guys might have noticed some things have changed around these parts. Is it the glasses? That's new. That's crazy.
Boop-a-doo-ba-doo-ba, going to work. I'm going to work. La 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 la, work, work.
Okay, now, first off, before I start diving into everything, I just kind of want to say that this isn't going to be a video about Ladylike. I've read all your comments on my socials, I see you and I hear you, but I just kind of feel uncomfortable talking about Ladylike stuff when not everyone from Ladylike is present. So I promise you the dust is settling around that front and we'll be able to post something soon, so just be patient with us. Please and thank you. Also, I just want to address the fact that we are very much still friends. We text literally all the time. I have plans this week with Jen, Kristen, and Chantal, and Freddie and I are scheming to get husbands. Okay, now me. So don't be mad at me, but I actually left
YouTube
BuzzFeed
again?
in November. November 21st.
Yeah.
To be exact.
Third-party content.
Okay, so let me just
why I
take you
love
all
Twitch.
back
They
there.
let me be
The date was
illegal.
November 11th, 2019, and I had just had this weird surgery that was like 3-in-1.
Hi babe, they just put an IV in my hand. I'm gonna pretend it's not my hand anymore. I just wanna let you know, should anything happen, you're responsible for the cats.
And I had to take a week off of work. And during that week, I was doing stuff like editing videos for this very YouTube channel that I hopefully you are subscribed to. During this week off, I got an official job offer to go work with my friend Allison.
It's 4 hot dogs!
Over at the NBC Digital Labs as a consulting producer. Now, if you're wondering what all those words mean, let me unpack this for you.
I haven't seen this.
Is my friend who I actually met through Patrick. And high-key, she and I would make a much cuter couple on Instagram if I didn't have the straights. The straights is like where my body reacts to things like crotchal bumps and gray sweatpants, pictures of NBA players holding babies, G-Eazy, all against my better judgment. Anyways, Allison helped me land this job at NBC because she loves me the most. I work in this department called the Digital Labs where we help develop digital content for NBC. Now, if you're saying to yourself, I didn't know that NBC made stuff for YouTube and other platforms. Well, they do. And I was hired to help them expand out. I'm here on one of those like Hollywood permalance situations.
G-Eazy is
In
crazy.
Hollywood, a lot of times people are hired freelance, which means it's a full-time job still, but you aren't staffed and you don't get health insurance. And you just kind of work on projects on a contract basis. After being staffed at BuzzFeed for almost 5 years, it's a little scary, but it's also really thrilling because it's like, this bitch can do anything. I can work for anyone who exchanges goods for digital producing services. I can go anywhere that my 2001 Toyota Corolla will take me. But Devin, why NBC? And to that, I say, open up a new tab. No, I'll wait. Open up a new tab. Type in www.linkedin.com. Then look me up, Devin Lytle. Is my LinkedIn updated? Hell no, but what do you notice? You see that little cute little banner? With the woman pointing at Rockefeller Center? You see, I have always wanted to work for NBC. I
Real.
watched the Today Show every day of my childhood.
YouTube is being a hater.
Friends was on my TV every day when I came home from school. And 30 Rock is a very special show to me that helped me get through my eating disorder treatment. And if I'm gonna do this like Hollywood thing, I should have some network experience, right? Will I be here forever? My dog. I don't know. Is it cool for right now? Oh my God, yeah. In fact, here. Number 5, I can see Hogwarts from my office window. This is not a joke. It's Hogwarts and it's in Universal City. Who'd have thought? Number 4, I now work with people who are older than me. At BuzzFeed, I felt like I was the oldest grandma who would talk to anyone about Helen Hunt's performance in the 90s sitcom Mad About You to a bunch of blank faces.
Do you have a second to talk about Helen Hunt's performance and the 90s sitcom Mad About You?
Yes.
Do you know that sitcom?
Yeah, Mad About You.
You know it?
Yeah, with Paul Reiser.
Oh my god.
Number 3.
It would be hard
I
to be
have
the
a
oldest
telephone at
person
my
in your
desk.
workplace.
I don't know why. Once someone called me on it. It was a wrong number, but my heart dropped to my vagina for a second. Sometimes, when I'm bored, I like to pretend I'm leaving a sad voicemail to Dr. Manhattan. Number 2. I work with men. All of these men. Look at them. All of them. Men in around here. I haven't worked with a bunch of men in legit never in my professional life. Like before BuzzFeed, I taught at a pole dancing studio and worked freelance for Killer Films, a company owned by women. So far, my favorite thing to do is to make these men feel uncomfortable by saying things like,
How many ovaries do I have?
2.
Great.
Men sounds like a threat.
Hey Drew, what do you think I should do if I feel like I'm ovulating?
Take it out. Take it all out.
Take
The
it
number
all out
one
is
thing
crazy.
I love
Didn't
about
realize
my
I
new
missed
job
this
is
flavor
that I
of
work with
millennial
development.
whimsy.
I
Me
get to come
either.
up with a billion shows and series ideas every day.
So I would
and that
consider
means
that
I'm
a
never
downgrade.
bored. So that's kind of what I'm working on. Stuff with BuzzFeed got a little sticky, so this bitch had to go. Let me be clear about my relationship with BuzzFeed. It's a little complicated. Do I agree with every decision that they make and have made in the past? No. Am I about to spill the tea on the situation? Also no. At the end of the day, BuzzFeed is a company. And honestly, I can't imagine what it's
Common
like to
thread
run
is
a
people are
company
like, it's a
that's
company.
entire business model
That
is
says a
based
lot.
off of the economics of the internet. Think about that for a second. The internet. The internet is just a popularity contest that's changing all the time with all these silent rules and barely any jurisdiction.
Alrighty, I think we get the point of that one. This is Chantal leaving BuzzFeed.
Hello, hi.
Also March 2020.
It's AMA time. You all submitted questions for this. About 2 weeks ago, I put on my Instagram that I would do an AMA and make a YouTube video out of it. If you missed that, then follow me on Instagram. Go for it. Did you do it yet? Do it. I'm
Yes,
watching
we're gonna
you.
watch Quinta's
and my
last.
patrons got an extended window to
And
ask
Quinta's
them, so
is a
thank
little
you to all
bit
my
different
patrons, and I'm
because
so
Quinta
eager
did hers
to
with
answer them
BuzzFeed.
right now because I've been self-quarantining for
So Devin's video was March 2020 pre-COVID, like pre-COVID shutdown. This is post-COVID shutdown, March 29th, and I think the other one was like March 3rd, 4th.
12 days, 11 days, 13 days? What day is it? It's Monday. And so I'm very excited to make this video. Where is it though? Where? There are a lot of questions here. I'm gonna try to get through as many as I can. Honestly, there's a lot of questions about James, which as we know, I appreciate. I say we get into it. Ooh, this is literally, I am not kidding. This is the first question submitted. Do you want kids in the future? That could be.
Yeah, this is a little too AMA. I'm going to move on. Love you so much, Chantal, though. I am going to be moving on. This one is 35 minutes, so we're just going to watch the first little bit. But I really, 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 really love these two. So, and I liked that it was another two-person one.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Not BuzzFeed capitalizing
it's
on
that
the
time
trend.
of year.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
As
a
is their
video.
corporate
I feel like I
mission.
spent 7 months working my way to get to the point where I can do this video. And like
December
even
2020.
doing it, like I think it's gonna be hard. So
Yeah. Welcome to the Kitchen and Jordan Show.
welcome to the Kitchen and Jordan Show,
Kitchen
and
and
welcome
Jordan
to
Show.
a time-honored BuzzFeed tradition, the Why We Left BuzzFeed video. I should mention at the top, there are some trigger warnings here for suicidal ideation.
Yeah.
So
Let's get into
it's gonna
it.
be that kind of video.
Yeah.
Toot toot.
Toot toot. Yeah.
Beep, beep.
I think they
Honestly,
tried
this
to
is a
warn
video
us
that
about
I feel like I
intellectual
need to
property
make
and the
just
internet.
because I
We
feel
didn't
like
understand.
It would be
Yeah.
important for me to have closure, and it's important for me to have catharsis here. Talking about my experiences is probably the best way for me to feel that way.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if
will
I've
say
seen
that
this.
like
It seems
we are taking
familiar.
a risk here. It's possible people are gonna be like, we don't give a shit.
Yeah. But if that's how you feel, you just don't have to watch it.
Yeah, you don't have to watch. You can click out. We have lots of other videos. So first things first. Obviously, I am like a white, queer, fat woman. And so my experiences at BuzzFeed are going to be through that lens. Obviously, a lot of the stuff I'm about to talk about is not like particularly rosy. Other
This is me
people
and my
have had
bestie
different
debriefing.
and, in a lot of ways, worse experiences than me, and you should listen to them.
Yeah. We just want to like start off this video by recognizing like the fact that we can make this video, that we have like the energy to make this video, it's coming from like a place of privilege. That we have the resources to make this video, it's coming from a place of privilege. We recognize that, and so it's like there are people that are gonna be talking about their experiences or things they've gone through, and their voices are valid, listen to them, and we're just sort of contributing
So
you know
some
where we
shit
come
was
from.
going on
The fact
behind
that
the
we can
scenes
make a
is what I'm
video like
gathering.
this and it won't ruin our careers is also a privilege.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing is that this is a story about Jen and I.
Yeah.
It's not the story of Ladylike. There is a lot that intersects those two stories, but the story of Ladylike is a story that like all 5 of us should tell, and it's not a story for the 2 of us.
Did they
to
ever
tell.
do that?
So there are some things in this story that are going to be left out. Probably may be able to fill in some of the gaps, but I will not be filling in those gaps for you. So the third thing is that with
Kristen's
all
wife has also transitioned.
culture
Oh, I
is set
didn't know
at the
Kristen
top.
was married.
This is every company. I worked at BuzzFeed for 6.5 years. You worked there for 4?
5.
5.
Yeah.
See, we don't even know.
Yeah.
Time is just, not real. And whenever we heard that someone was coming out with a Why I Love BuzzFeed video, we would be like, oh man.
Yeah, and that's not because we like felt like they shouldn't make those videos or
Yeah.
because they were saying things that weren't true. But the one thing that would happen is like people would watch those videos and they would get upset, rightfully. But the people that would get affected by those videos were not the people at the top setting the culture. It would be the people like mid-level employees, lower-level employees, producers,
Yeah.
like people making
I can see
content
that.
were the ones that were sort of getting the fallback and the pushback
I
for
get
those
that.
videos because they're the ones that are visible.
People would
It's
get
so
mad at
interesting how
BuzzFeed and then
COVID
just
changed
not
the
look
tone
at
of
the
these videos.
being
That's a
made
good
by people
point.
who work at
This is a
BuzzFeed,
cultural
who
study.
honestly
This is why I
don't
love
have
you
a lot of
guys.
power.
Yeah.
I would say that if you love creators at BuzzFeed, the best thing that you can do to help support them is to watch their videos and like follow their Instagrams and their Twitters and their TikToks, because having a huge base of support and proven numbers gives people the resources and the confidence to leave. If your response to this is,
they're
I'm not
talking
going to
about
watch
it like
those
it's a
videos,
cult.
like you're actually going to hurt people that we care
Oh,
about.
I wonder
and
if the
that-
Bon Appetit
who
fallout
want to
impacted
have a
that. I feel
career
like I'm
after
missing out that I don't know what that
For,
is.
like,
I
as
feel like
much
it's like
frustration as we
that
may
tweet
have
of someone who
towards,
didn't know
like,
about
a former
9/11.
employer, like that doesn't mean that people who work there are bad people and that you shouldn't support them. Like I still watch BuzzFeed videos because like I still like people that make content there and they make good things.
Being able to quit your job is a privilege.
Yeah.
In order to kind of acquire resources,
As someone who loves
acquire
quitting their
enough of
job.
an audience, in order to make the break, you need a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And
I feel
so
like
the
Kitchen
fact
and
that,
Jordan
like,
are the
we were
last
able
ones to
quit
leave that I knew
is a
or cared
privilege.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
miss
like
Bon
you shouldn't
Appetit.
look
I
at
don't know
people and be
anything.
like, you still work at BuzzFeed, why? It's like having a media job is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's health insurance. That's stability.
Everyone
that's your
mentioning
rent,
health
especially right
insurance.
now.
I am not crazy. The reason our country does not have universal health care is so our employers can control us. Like, you're not going to tell me I'm crazy for thinking that.
They want to make stuff that makes you happy. So, like, they love you. So please love them.
Yeah.
The next thing I want to say is, like, I was at this company for 6.5 years. I love this company. I love being there. I love the people. The people are actually the part that keep you there very long.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what are you going to do? Leave your friends?
No,
never. It's like that's the part that really.
I mean, we didn't.
Yeah, I know.
There was a time at my small company that they let go 4 people and then 3 to 4 more people quit. I invited them to lunch to debrief and it was close to why I left
It was a hard
BuzzFeed.
company to leave. Like I loved my job and I gave my job everything. Yeah. This is coming from a place of, I think,
I don't know what the Reply
deep
All
sense of
podcast
hurt.
is either. I'm very disconnected.
that someplace that I loved so much did not love me in return.
Yeah.
That's the preambles to my story.
Yeah.
Is it time to begin the story?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the story of when it started to really go downhill for me.
Yeah.
Starting in like mid 2016, early 2017 is when we really got put on like a treadmill. We were releasing like 2 videos, sometimes 3 videos a week, and if we didn't get that many videos out, it was just like more videos. It really started when we started the channel.
Yeah.
And kind of the idea was that we would work really hard on this channel for a year, and then magic thing would happen or whatever. I don't even know. Like either we'd get paid more, get more resources or whatever. So that's kind of going on in the background. I would say like VidCon 2018 is probably when like the suicidal ideation really started for me, because we were kind of in a situation where we were just going.
If I remember correctly, when some of the key members of Ladylike left, they just started bringing in other random female employees.
There was like pretty high quotas.
Another
and so that
burnout,
meant that
high
you had to be
quotas.
filming a lot, and you had to be coming up with new ideas, and new content had to be put out. And so those demands kind of were rising as time went on, but the amount of resources that we were allotted and the amount of faith that it seemed like leaders at the company had in us really seemed to go downhill. So
the gap between Vine and TikTok, it was constant content. You're right.
And it sort of feels like the end goal keeps moving further and further away.
I would say like the second night of VidCon, I was just like, maybe I just don't want to be alive anymore.
Over a ladylike channel, that's crazy, but I so get it.
At the thing that I'm supposed to have aspired to.
Exactly, it's like you made it, but you're miserable and burnt out. So like,
am not happy.
Now what?
I am barely hanging on. I don't know whether or not this is ever going to stop, and I know that I have $2,000 in my bank account, so it's not like I can just.
That's not much money for an adult in LA.
Prospects or plans, and I also didn't really have the energy to create those because
that's the
I was
worst
so
headspace
tired.
to be in.
I was going
broke,
through my notes in
hating your
preparation
job.
for this
That's
video.
the worst.
And I found something that I wrote. This was December 2018.
It's like 6 months after VidCon.
6 months after VidCon. I remember I was upset one day and I just kind of locked myself in a conference room and I just was like, I need to write out my thoughts. I need to give answers about insert project here. I need to give answers about insert project here. My keys are missing. I'm not packed. My house is a mess. I haven't done laundry. I don't have the energy to shoot. Every time someone says to me, I know you're working hard, I just want to throw them in a lake. I'm treading water. I'm drowning. How am I supposed to be inspirational? Is this even fun to watch? Am I even fun? I hate myself. I hate my voice. I hate my face.
And being on camera and having to edit yourself is a lot. Like, there's a reason I don't really do like YouTube. I do this and I do TikTok because editing yourself is like not fun and I'm not that good at it, so it takes a long time.
So that was like 14 months before I quit. So this is like right after Montreal.
Yeah.
Right after Montreal. So
Montreal.
I'm not doing good. And then in January of 2019, the layoffs happened.
Yeah. So if you don't know, in January 2019, BuzzFeed laid off a large amount of people.
And it was like very disruptive.
It seems like they were definitely there through more shit than some of the earlier people. It seems like the earlier people we saw were like, I wanted more freedom, I wanted to be more creative, I wanted to own my stuff, and it seems like this is really where shit was hitting the fan.
Company culture and morale.
Yeah, like I don't think the company culture and morale ever recovered from it.
A shit ton of like our close friends were laid off, like a shit ton of people we really care about were laid off.
I already was like barely hanging on, and then that happened. And then it was like, obviously I still had a job, so I was lucky.
Yeah.
I would say that psychologically that kind of
14 months is a lot of endurance to stick out that long. Yeah.
You can feel like you're like, I'm lucky, I still have a job, I should be grateful, I'm in a better place than a lot of my friends, like I need to like get over all of my negative feelings and I need to just perform because it's like, me being upset is not worth anything right now.
And disrespectful to the fact that so many people are struggling.
This sounded like an absolute nightmare, while most of the others struck me as very bad.
Anyway,
yeah.
So
it was easy for us to internalize it.
Yeah.
Because like obviously we had like so much empathy for our friends, so like we were already feeling it, and people above us.
This
were
also
like,
makes sense why they started their video talking about privilege and all that, because they saw more people like literally lose their access to food and health insurance right in front of them. The other people were not there through the layoffs.
Because your friends are suffering.
Yeah.
And complaining about the job you have that is a privilege to have is an asshole thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that spring, a lot of stuff happened that we can't talk about in this video.
Yeah.
But I can briefly summarize it by saying shit got worse.
Yeah.
Much worse.
Much worse.
So then summer rolls around. I would say May 2019.
Yeah.
I was actually in my therapist's office, and she very seriously sat me down and was like, you have to take a month off. And I was like, what? Like, it was around the time when we were pitching Empty Suitcase.
Yeah.
I can't take a month off. Like I have to
Empty Suitcase was cool. She would like travel places with nothing and then get all her clothes there.
A TV show in the second half of this year. Like what? And she said to me, if you don't take a month off voluntarily, there may come a point very, very soon where you will not have a choice. You may reach a breaking point where you may have to be hospitalized. I'm worried that you are reaching the point where you're going to have like a psychotic break.
Yeah.
And that's something she's never said to me before. In the
It's a good therapist.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
It hurts to know how much they were struggling making content I really liked. Yeah.
I just need to work harder. I've been working.
But honestly, like, as someone who has made content for other people when I was like deeply unwell, like if you guys listen to the podcast or read my Substack, you know about like the situation I went through at work in like February and March of this most recent February and March. In a way, like that part of it is still really rewarding, and to like be in a really bad place but have people like comment that they're enjoying something you're making, not about the bad place, but just like unrelated. Like if you put out other creative things, like it doesn't, even though you're in a bad place, at least for me, I still find like hearing from you guys and people in my comments who are enjoying it, like that makes the place less bad, at least for me. But I have also never had a job like that. And all my creation has been under my own IP and my own control. So maybe that's why I think of it a little bit differently. But honestly, like, and there has been times like when making the content, I was like, oh my God, I feel horrible right now. But then like after posting it and seeing comments, you're kind of like, oh, okay, like it's good to know that I'm making people laugh and all of that stuff. It's like hiding behind the Instagram feed, but through a different lens. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's an interesting place to be. But what I'm trying to say is, you shouldn't feel guilty for watching it, because like the only part of it that's good, at least to me, if I'm in that place, which is rare for me but has happened, the only part of it that's really like good about like being on camera when you feel bad is like knowing that other people are going to enjoy it. So if other people aren't enjoying it, that in a way makes it worse, if that makes sense. So like you can still watch it, it's fine.
Whole life to have my own show, the Empty Suitcase Show, and I finally got it. So now I just gotta keep working, and then when I finally get that show, it'll happen. Lucy will not pull the football out from underneath me this time. This is all stuff I've said in my head. So my therapist, I just was like, well, I'm gonna talk to HR about it. We'll see. I went to HR and I was just like, I need to take a month off. And she was just like, let's find a way to like make it happen. I think like, you know, because I had a ton of PTO, and they were just like, we can figure this out. We can figure out a way to make it happen. But then that HR rep left.
Yeah, of course.
She was sick of it. And then Empty Suitcase got bought, and it was like, well, I did not take the month off. It did not happen.
Yeah. Obviously, like, the Empty Suitcase team is incredible. Like, there's so many amazing people that worked on it. And
alrighty, we're going to move past this a little bit, but I think it was really interesting to get their perspective, and I encourage you to watch the rest of their video. I put the information there so you can find it. But I think this, like, really, I'm glad I did this in the order that I did, really showed how much the company culture changed very dramatically in a very, very short time. This is interesting. I found this very interesting. So this is Quinta, Why I Left Buzzfeed, does not have many views and was posted by Buzzfeed. I have never seen this, so I don't know what the vibe is going to be. Taking time off to go write on other TV shows when other people on here specifically said they were not allowed to do that they were forbidden from working on outside projects. So it seems like overall their company was not running a like clear, ethical, transparent HR around employment. That was our last one. I hope that you enjoyed this. Instead of doing a game, we're going to do some trivia because I didn't know if we would watch all those and I didn't watch them all in advance. But before I start our trivia, next week we are talking about Heidi Fleiss, I believe is how you say her name. I will know by next week. She's known as the Hollywood Madam. What you probably know is that she was the one that basically Charlie Sheen ratted on. So she was a madam, someone who procured sex workers for people in Hollywood. Very, very interesting story that we will be talking about next week. But let me go ahead and do our little trivia. It's literally just a random ass trivia. It's the most random trivia. And a lot of it's luck based. We're going to play on Blook It, which I know you guys have mixed feelings about. We'll do 4 minutes. We'll just do a nice little quick trivia. All right. There you go. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Oh, he ratted on her. Like, he gave her name in a court thing. Ratted. So, the directions are on there. If you put in your name, it'll come up. I'm going to go ahead and say, Fleiss, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and say bye-bye to TikTok. Love you so much. Time for y'all to go night-nights. And yeah, TikTok, see you next week. Normally we're here every Tuesday, and let's just play our little frickin' game. And my phone's about to die, so that's why. A new stage in your life journey. Man, y'all are joining quick. There were a lot of us here tonight. A lot more than I was expecting for a Monday. I have to sneeze. I feel it. Normally I would do it in my elbow, but I didn't want to get it in my hair. I know, the look at character limit. And you can change your emojis. Just a heads up. If you don't like the emoji that they gave you, you can change it. And if you have an account, you have like other ones. And what I like is if you like do really good in your games, it unlocks it. Yes, I will make a Nearpod bulletin. I was thinking of you, Lemur Banana, and I was like, do I need to make a Nearpod bulletin? Or I was thinking, do I need to make a time to climb? And then I realized I could just make the bulletin because I knew that some of you would have memes, Lemur Banana being one of you. Because they have like a little quick launch thing for that. I'm gonna do that right now while y'all are joining this. Good little children. Today was weird. I just felt like my vibe was super off today. I think it's literally was because I got like soaked in rainwater the second I walked into work. Oh, here, I'll put the link in the chat. Sorry, my bad. Lemur Banana always comes with the memes. We're so blessed. We really are. Okay, there's the Blicket link. You can also just like scan the QR code if you're watching this on TV and you have your phone, but I know a lot of you watch on your phone. I liked this topic. This was cool. All right, I'm gonna hit start. If you're still joining, it will let you join late. And this one is very luck-based. So if you don't know things, it's okay. It's a lot of luck. So you can see the code is still up there, so the link in the chat will still work too. I love the music on this one. Buzzfeed, that's funny. I just don't like that I can't see the questions. And I didn't make this. It's like someone else's random trivia. See, it lets you guys steal from each other. Isn't that fun? I really do need to wash my hair. My scalp is itchy. I just hate washing my hair. And then it takes so long to dry. It's annoying. I guess I shouldn't complain. I have a lot of very nice hair. It just takes a long time to wash it. Kind of like people with big dogs who complain about grooming them. It's like, why'd you get that dog? These questions are bananas. Yeah, there's like 400 questions, and they're all insane. Does blonde hair take longer to dry? I think my hair takes so long to dry because it's very thick, and I hate when it's cold on me, so I always put it in a bun or like a ponytail, so that makes it take a lot longer to dry. It's all about FFA. What? I have scrolled through like the first 100 and they were normal. What is that? That's lame. I don't even know what FAA is. Is that the aviation people? Weird. Did I like give you guys the wrong ones? Sorry about that. Maybe I like sent you the wrong ones. Maybe I fucked up. Sorry. Teacher's on 0 right now. Some of the answers are spelled wrong. See, I goofed. Next time I will be making my own trivia. This is why you can't trust anybody. I saw this had so many plays, I skimmed through it, and you just literally can't trust anybody. Valid. I would give up too. Do you want me to end it? There's only a minute left. I'll let it finish. I'm hungry. I already said that. It's the ag department at a high school. That's what I just Googled. Sorry about that. There were normal questions in there, I assure you, unless I sent you guys the wrong one, which is also highly possible. That's hilarious, all the ag kids showing out. I'm glad it's luck-based then. Natural blondes have the highest density of hair follicles, and the actual hair is thinner, so there's more surface area to hold the water. Is that true? Huh. All right. Meg's in third, Bill Nye in second, Buzzfeed in first. Nice job, Meg, Nev, Claire, Saltines, Kat, Joe, Mads, and I will scroll through the rest. This is why I left a wall. Buzzfed. 13th place, baby. All right. Nice job. Looks like some of you fell off. Let me put up, where'd it go? If you have a meme, feel free to share it. If you don't have a meme, that's totally fine. You do not have to meme if you aren't a meme person. Thank you all so much for being here. Next week, we will be talking about Heidi Fleiss, the Hollywood Madam. I am here normally every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. This week it was Monday. Yeah. Love you guys. I'll give people a couple minutes to put their memes, and then I'm going to have second dinner because so this was the thing. I didn't eat enough at work today. So then when I got home at like 4 o'clock, I had my leftover mac and cheese. But then when it was like 6 o'clock time for dinner, I wasn't that hungry. So I only ate a little bit. We had stuffed shells with spinach and chicken sausage. It was really good. I got it from a place. And it was really good, but I just like wasn't that hungry. And now I'm like ravenous. You like the Monday streams? I'm not against a Monday stream. Like when in Rome, you know? Mainly just when I have unmovable plans on a Tuesday. Why I left a Walmart. How I felt when you played the Try Guys. My wife. When companies shoot themselves in the foot by fucking over the talent. A tale as old as time. Not Walter White, why I left BuzzFeed. Sometimes we all need a frog. Quit your job. That's funny. So third dinner. The mac and cheese was literally like 4 bites at 4 p.m. That was a snack, not a dinner. It needs to have protein for it to be dinner. And it was merely just a side mac and cheese that I didn't finish from the other day. Wish I would have thought of the username BuzzFeed in my overalls, but I was already committed to the username. That is a good username. CUNM. Can you say happy birthday? It was Saturday. Happy birthday. How old did you turn? What's your sign? Oh, are you a Scorpio? I'm kind of scared of Scorpios, but happy birthday. All right, team. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much. I will see you on Tuesday. Live, laugh, and love. TTYL.